Sophia Arroyo with Keller Williams College Park in California, and here with Edgar from Cross Country, and we're here to talk about why now is still a good time to buy since interest rates are still low.
I get that question a lot in regards to interest rates because I work with the rates every day and we discuss numbers with clients, and a lot of people think that, oh, rates are so high now, but they're only higher relative to the last 2 years, which were unprecedentedly low. Really, in the historical sense, we're much closer to historical lows of rates, which were in the high twos for a 30-year fixed mortgage, relative to historical highs, which were 18% in the very early 80s. So right now, rates are in the high threes, low fours, so it is still a good time for rates, and that is going to change very soon. We see a trend this year of rates going up.
So can you give us some examples of what it would be like to buy now as to when interest rates are higher?
Sure, and that happens a lot. And what people don't think about is they think about rates going up so their payment's going to be higher. And obviously that's important to a homeowner. But what a lot of people do not consider is how their buying power is affected. So let's say that someone qualifies for a $500,000 house, putting 20% down today, and rates go up 0.5% over the next couple months, which is what has happened so far this year in 2022. Rates have gone up about 0.5% since the end of 2021. So if that were to happen, the same person that's qualified for $500,000 would only be able to qualify for a $445,000 house. So rates would go up and they would be paying the same payment, but they'd be getting $55,000 of house less. So as you can see from that example I gave, a 0.5% rise in interest rates could affect someone's buying power by a little bit more than 10%. And so tell me, in the market you're seeing out there, how much of a difference does 10% in buying power make?
It makes a huge difference. It can be between, being able to win a bidding war. It can be which counties you live in. It can be which side of the freeway you're on, north or south. It could also be between, school districts. Maybe you want to get a house in a specific school district. So, Edgar, can you show us what interest rates look like in the past and as to what they look like now?
Sure. I'm about to show you a chart of the last 3 years of the mortgage-backed security market, and you can get some historical context for what has happened in the last 3 years and what the trend is going forward. Going back a little over 5 years. Over the course of these last 5 years, you can see some dramatic shifts in the mortgage-backed security market, the MBS market. Of course, here, these are the midterm elections halfway through Trump's term. Then, of course, over here we have the initial shock to interest rates that came as a result of the initial COVID lockdown announcements. That's this red here. Red is a decline in mortgage-backed security prices, which translates to an increase in mortgage rates. So initially, when COVID lockdowns were announced, that was really bad for both the stock market and our market. And you can see things got very bad very quickly here in March 2020. And then immediately things recovered to a much better level due to the announcement of the government stimulus and assistance programs, including the checks that were cut to taxpayers, the foreclosure and eviction moratoriums, as well as the assistance to small businesses through the PPP, through the SBA programs, and the rally in the stock market that came shortly thereafter. So this is that reaction to the government assistance after the COVID lockdowns. Rates just got to one of their historically lowest levels immediately after that due to all this government assistance and, frankly, the printing of money. Made money very cheap during the beginning of the COVID crisis. Through 2020, things stayed fairly flat. And then, of course, we see another improvement in early 2021, which is when the government announced the second round of stimulus and assistance and a continuation of some of those moratoriums. That's what you see here. And things trended fairly evenly through 2021. So you can see this is why in 2020, during COVID and all through 2021, there was a refi boom. Money was very cheap. And it's also what is driving home prices so high right now. money was cheap and people were interested in having a space of their own due to the COVID lockdowns. So there was a lot of demand for home ownership. Money was cheap, so of course prices went up. And it was a very stable rate environment, as you can see from late March 2020 through the end of October of 2021. It was more than a year and a half of stability. If we zoom in the last 6 months, we can see that that stability has ended ever since the beginning of the year, since January of 2022. Rates have worsened dramatically. And you can see here that February 10th was one of the worst days we've had in a long time. So, of course, rates are trending upwards now. And this is the trend for the foreseeable future. We're going to see worsening in the mortgage-backed security market, which translates to higher rates. Thanks again for joining us, and thank you, Sophia, for having me. Again, I'm Edgar Sarmiento with Cross Country Mortgage. I'm here to answer any questions, give you some advice. Please like or subscribe down below, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, thank you, Edgar, for answering these questions for us. I learned something myself. Thank you so much. I am Sophia Arroyo. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams, and I'm looking forward to helping you.